J. Brown Leadership Academy. It's located in Guilford County, or the proposed location is Guilford County, and the yellow dot you see on the board, the county map. Year 1, K to 2, 300. Year 2, K to 3, 389. Year 4, K to 4, 478, and so on. Please check the paper if you have any further required information. Regarding the application. Accelerated application. Late last year, not considered. This time, the complete information request was responded to on November 7th, so I have a question about that. Is that past the deadline? I believe it is, correct? Dave, is November 7th. Okay, so that would be past the deadline. Just as a point of note, we can clarify any of that with Miss Dr. Allen when she returns. At this time, we'll allow Robert J. Brown Leadership Academy to take 5 minutes to present or just share anything that they wish. You have 5 minutes at this time.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Brenda Williams, and I am representing Mr. Robert J. Brown, who is at this moment having cataract surgery. So that is the reason he's not here. But let me just say that over a year ago, he started thinking about his legacy. Bob Brown, as he's known to most people, has a history of being very involved in this community, in addition to national recognition, having worked with Martin Luther King in the Civil Rights Movement, also was very instrumental in helping Nelson Mandela through the time that he was in prison and at bringing his children here to the U.S. to educate. So he's what we call a historical icon that is probably the least known in a native son of North Carolina, and especially High Point. The mission of the school is essentially to take children like him, who at the first grade was determined a slow learner. And he was told by his grandmother that he could do anything. And so consequently, he's thinking now about what kind of legacy he wants to leave. And when we started talking about a school, he said, I want to look at risk kids that people have not necessarily thought would be successful, and give them a helping hand. And so that was the reason that the school was started. Mr. Brown is a Horatio Alger awardee. He has just an incredible background, 17 honorary doctorate degrees, and essentially worked in the Nixon White House and been on many, many corporate boards. So technically, he's saying that I want to help children who may fall through the cracks. And if there's a way for us to eliminate that and give them an opportunity, I want to do that with my school. The school's going to follow state regulations and essentially focus on character and leadership, which is what it is that he has done with his life.
Great, thank you. I'll turn it over at this point to Ms. Cacadelis, who will lead us in any questions.
Oh yes, this is Dion Reeder and Mr. Tom Brown. Both.
Are you related to Dr. Brown?
No. I didn't even get blessed with his good looks.
Well, we want to say thank you for coming. A couple of clarification questions that I would have is that the EMO is the Robert J. Brown Foundation.
That's the management company.
That's the management company. Mm-hmm. Okay, right, yeah, EMO. All right. Is there a separate board from that than the board for the school?
The Children's Legacy, which is his foundation, is essentially going to be the board for the school.
Okay, and there's a whole different board than for the management.
Yes.
No, there's no.
No interlocking board.
Okay.
So the Children's Legacy formed as a nonprofit to start the school.
Right.
So the school's board is the Children's Legacy, doing business as.
Yes.
There's a great story about, I think, where you're proposing for acceleration. You got 7 months. I mean, it's going to move fast, 8
Right.
months. Excuse me. But I didn't see any letter of intent from the church. I just saw the letter that came from him. So I would want some clarification on, is the church intent, I mean, all that's been settled as far as the location.
Oh, yeah. There's been a deposit placed on the church. And so we are actually working with a group who's buying the church, going to renovate the church. And in our 4th year, we will be able to buy the church from them.
Okay. The board looked really strong, especially with his legacy. So,
Thank you.
it's fascinating reading.
Thank you.
I'll go ahead and,
Facility for a second.
well, go
You
ahead.
said, is this a vacant church?
The school is the old Brentwood School on Martin Luther King Avenue. And the reason the school is so important to him is that it was a school he could not attend. He had to go past that school in order to go to the school that he went to. So when it was proposed that the Brentwood School, which is a historical school, be purchased and named after him, it meant just something very, very special to him.
But it's been vacant for like 30 years.
Yes, and it will require a total gut.
Okay.
But it's deemed historical, which is why it's important to him.
So I'm assuming it's brick and mortar.
Yes.
So the intent is year 1 to utilize the church facility?
No, there's a building in the back of it, which is the annex, and that's the building that can be readied
And
immediately.
it would be able to occupy 300 students?
In the first year.
I think that was one of my clarifying questions in the application. So while you're in your initial year of operation, you intend to then be remediating the final structure.
Right, and we will put another building on the premises if necessary.
Like a modular?
Right, the modulus, right.
Okay. You've talked a lot about leadership. Can you explain maybe why leadership is not in your mission statement?
It should be character development, character and leadership.
Well, I think there's, if you look at this, Linda, there's 2 different mission statements. So the initial one says to be a catalyst for at-risk students.
Okay, and I'm looking at that one.
And then the other one says our mission statement is to cultivate great leaders with courage, integrity, and accountability.
Okay, they were in different sections. That was it. And I was looking at the one in the mission statement.
Right. So under the mission of the school, it identifies the at-risk.
Now, in that, you were talking about at-risk students. I didn't see a good definition.
I think that's going to be children because there are kids that are in the danger. We know from having talked to some of the churches, there are some specific kids that need different kinds of
Education plan, in fact, it got what? The education plan all failed. There was a lot of detail not in that. However, I would like to hear more about the school just because of his legacy, the board's legacy. So I have a tendency to move ahead with it, even though the application was weak. Those are my thoughts. Tammy, are you on? Can you hear?
I'm here.
Any thoughts or questions you have?
I had a couple questions. One, I didn't see SMART goals in the application, and I was curious what the academic goals were. And I couldn't hear well to see if anyone asked about almost half the board being from out of state and what might be some of the hurdles that present for the school.
Okay, were you able to hear that?
Yeah.
One of them was having some board members that were out of state, the hurdles that might happen with having meetings and how you
Both of them
that.
are here right now. And they both plan to move here.
Oh, okay. So you will be in the area.
Yeah. And let me just say that these are two people that I've worked with when I had my own charter school. So, yeah, in DC.
Tammy, did you hear that?
Yes, thank you. The other question was about the lack of SMART goals in the application.
Right.
What were the educational goals in school?
The SMART goals and the application of little specific of, I did not see those in there either. The other thing about the application, there's one place in the application that talks about doing a whole curriculum thread through grades. I saw standards, but I didn't see any curriculum material. And reading the education plan, there was 3 software tools that would be used, but I didn't see really curriculum that, that would state specifically how you're going to teach reading.
Michelle, do you want to come up, Michelle? This is our intended vice principal.
Oh, okay, so you've already got an intended?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Hello, everyone. So as far as the curriculum, we based it off of the state standards, and we use various curriculum portions to base off of the needs of the student. So basically we assess and see what they need and come up with assessments and curriculum that basically supplements what they need as far as achieve the standard.
Yeah, but we really would like to know what curriculum, are you going to be developing your own total curriculum?
We use a bit of pieces for everything, maybe like Super Kids as far as reading programs and enrichment programs such as Dreambox and iStation to supplement the needs that they need if they're working at home and at school.
Do you know why that was not put into the application?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay.
And it may be that we also have the STEM program. One of our board members is a West Point grad who is bringing the STEM program in with us. And that's going to start early.
Okay. I didn't see that in there, did you?
It's mentioned in one place.
Yeah.
Should definitely be part of that.
All right. I'm really kind of on the, I'm struggling with some of the lack of detail in the application. I really am struggling with that.
Ms. Williams, can you speak to the area just a little bit about what are the demographics for the proposed area where Brentwood School is currently, and what does it look like in the schools that are right there in that area? And like these, for me, the enrollment numbers are very high, especially, I do like the fact that you're starting K2, but 300 is pretty high enrollment number for the first year. So tell me, what's the neighborhood like? What are you going to be able to pull in from that neighborhood and those schools?
So, hello everyone, I'm Dion Reed, Impact Center. So it deals with all the wraparound services, and that's the carrot for us to actually attract the families to attend the school.
Right.
One of the things that we recognize, this is the surrounding area is very low to moderate, poor income. Majority of them are African Americans that sit within that community. And what we recognized is one of the things to actually attract the parents to attend is this model. This model that we're speaking of is really an evidence-based model. It's focused on high-risk, challenging neighborhoods to actually bring the families to the school, providing opportunities around housing, employment, career opportunities. And part of the work that I'll be doing with the school is actually how do you actually beef up that particular industry and make sure that those family members are able to come to the school, get the services that they need, while becoming a part of the students' academic curriculum while they're participating there. So it's almost like a wraparound school model that will be providing services on site, not just to the students, but to their families. Almost in a form of a coaching resource center where individuals will come in throughout the school day. We'll have some workshops in the evening hours, making sure that we're providing childcare and food for the families to attend, ensuring that the whole family can be a part of the Leadership Academy, as opposed to just focusing on the child.
Wow.
Right, and I understand that that's, you know, with at-risk students, you've got to get your parental involvement. What are the current schools in that area? Are they failing schools?
Yeah, they're actually below your standards, the schools that are in their area.
Below
And that's
North
one of the things that, yes, one of the things that we want to actually work with is not only working with the church, Living Word there, but also partnering with the schools. We don't want to be seen as competition, but we want to be seen as a part of the community that's going to be there, entrenched in the community, providing opportunities for those families and for the other schools to look at what we're doing so that they're not failing. Because we know that once we actually attract the students and the families to attend our school, we know that more families are going to want to know what are they doing over here at the Robert J. Brown Leadership Academy. So we want to be partners with the surrounding schools as well and build a strong partnership with the Living Word Church to use their annex as well as another opportunity for the families to come and engage in evening or weekend activities. We see this as a full service school throughout the entire year.
I had another thought. Let me think.
Can I ask you while you're thinking?
Yeah, try to get it
Dan, and we need to wrap up because we're beyond time. So, Danielle, this was an applicant that the request was not responded to until November 7th. So they're after the date? So technically it's incomplete. Is that right?
So the office is requesting that you all take a vote on completely. We were not able to do the application complete because they responded to our request after the 5 days allowed by statute.
Okay.
The piece that was missing was that table that we discussed.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that the situation this year is, you know, it's another late application. And I think the other piece with this is that we have that layered on top of, you know, 2 fails in mission, all fail in education, 2 fails in each of the governance, finance, and operations. Again, I'm not saying that the external evaluators are, but I want to, you know, layer these things. We have the incomplete piece, which by statute, it's incomplete. If we're applying the letter of the law, it's incomplete. You have a full fail in the education plan, which is arguably the most important part. And then we're putting the school, regardless of its somewhat, you know, it's in the corner there, but it's in Guilford County. This is a competitive market. This is not a situation where we're talking about with a school. It's in a county that doesn't have a charter school. And I appreciate what they're saying about the namesake of the school. It sounds like there is something here that needs to happen, and I'm excited, you know, by what I've heard from the board chair about the legacy of this individual. I would say, like, there's too many pieces to try to draw this, salvage this in an interview. And not to mention that by statute, it's incomplete.
I think this was the one that, I mean, literally, the information did not come back in until November the 7th. Right?
That's correct.
It was, the only thing that was missing was the answers to the question whether there was any disciplinary action taken against a license held by board member Wright. So
it was just those 2 columns. It was the 2 columns.
Yeah, it was that one column that was missing.
But the document was there. It's the 2 columns.
I understand that, and I'm the last person to be anal about this. Like, I don't like being anal about this stuff, but I feel like at some point you draw a line. You say, look,
with this the other one from earlier today, we use this as an example. If someone did not write the information, they did not sign every part of it that they were supposed to. We said that plus the application plus the location means that it's difficult to really consider them for an interview, because I do think like part of the test of the application process is, can you get all your stuff submitted in time? Because boards are going to have to do this type of thing, and DPI is nothing if not specific and detailed and persnickety about crossing all the I's and dotting the T's and saying you got to get this in this way. And I think that's part of the test of the application. Honestly, it's like, because the school is going to have to do that repeatedly. I think it's hard for me to see. I think it's hard. This is hard because I really want, I would like to talk to them more, but I can't get past like these pieces layered on top of each other. I think that's where I am right now.
Tammy, do you have any thoughts after hearing Alec?
I think there's a compelling story behind the school and a need, but I would like to see more in the education plan and more specific goals around the academic part of the application.
Okay, Sherry. This is so hard.
Well, it's not, if you take it on face value, you're looking at Dr. Brown's legacy, it's easy. And I think we're all in agreement on that, but
Yes.
What Mr. Quigley is trying to pound home is statutorily we are obligated by the rules that were set to.
And I will tell you, what you have shared with me in just the last few minutes is more compelling
way more than
what I got in the application. In fact, were you involved in another charter school that did this?
Yes, we were very successful.
Is that the one in Washington, D.C.?
Mm-hmm.
What school?
Why did we hear about them in here?
That's why we're here.
Well, I know, but we have to.
But it's got to be in the application.
And I just think that, knowing the legacy of Mr. Brown in this community, with so many African Americans not seeing themselves moving beyond their current situation, we'll be doing this community another disservice, because I'm almost certain that there's no wraparound model that currently exists with the outcomes that we have proven in neighborhoods that are twice, if not three times, as challenging as the Brentwood neighborhood. And we successfully transition families into college and into career opportunities that then move them out of poverty. I think that's the goal.
And you're going to move here.
Yes.
and I'm super compelled by that, and I
This is the little
you're tugging on the heartstrings. My only push is just that the application, again, it's a two-pronged process, right? And we see all the time, schools start, boards go, principals come and go. We're left with the application. We're left with what's there. And it's rare to see a school that fails. Every external evaluator fails the education plan. It's going to be hard for me to, even if we brought it forward, I'm going to struggle. How are we going to vote for this? Like I agree. Because we're not just voting on what you're saying. What you're saying is so compelling.
I know.
I get
that's why I'm struggling.
I get it. But it's also, we have to justify to the state board when we make these decisions and when we approve them. Really think about, like, as I said before, every approved application, every application that takes one step forward, we're saying we think that this is a viable application for a multi-million-dollar, $15 million state grant of state funds. Because if you average out starting school, average per pupil, number of years it stays open, it's $15 million. So, can we justify on the paper argument for a $15 million state grant? The legacy, the story, the things you're saying, and that's mostly about the interview, are really compelling to me. And the reason I'm talking so much is because I'm struggling.
I'm going to go ahead and make a motion because we've got to move forward. I'm going to make a motion based on what I am hearing today, okay? Because I want to hear more about this. So I'm going to make a motion that we move it forward for an interview. And I don't even know if it'll pass the committee. I'm just saying that's my motion. Is there a second?
I mean, I'll vote for it. It's fine. I mean, that's fine. I mean, we can come together and support it out of committee, and we can bring them in and have the conversation. I just, I'm concerned about having a precedent where we start to, I guess, like, maybe can we just vote out of committee and then discuss it as a board?
Yeah,
Because I do feel like there's this issue of like, we start bending the rules on the statutory requirements. Right. I would agree.
That's fine.
And clarification is not supposed to be the part where we make a compelling
Well,
case.
y'all can vote against me. I mean, I made a motion.
I don't know.
Is there a second? Is there a second? Did you give me a second?
I didn't give a second. I mean, fine. I'll second it so we can have a vote. So.
Okay. So it's been moved in second. All in favor?
I guess I would vote for it because I seconded. Tammy, what do you think?
Tammy, where are you at?
Are we voting to move it forward, or are we voting to discuss it with the?
Yeah, that's what I want.
We're moving it forward to discuss with the whole.
Yeah, let's do that.
Committee. Or whole board.
Can you withdraw?
Yeah, withdraw your motion and.
Let's just discuss it with the.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, I withdraw my motion
Okay.
and open it for full board discussion.
Okay. Can we just do that, or do we have to have a motion for that committee, Daniel? Yeah.
Okay, I make a motion that we forward it on to the full committee
For
for
discussion.
further discussion.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right.
Okay.
So it's on the committees.
So good, I can talk now.
Yep.
I've been in here. Look, here's my thing is, I know Bob Brown, and I've seen that he's never failed in anything in his life. And his story is absolutely amazing. And I think he would probably be upset seeing some of this, and I think he probably is, just from seeing that the application that was submitted with his name on it wasn't as strong as it needed to be. That given with the incompleteness issue, I think there is a difference between signing off that the board members all certify that they've reviewed the requirements with an attorney and the attorney's name's blank, and that they,
Sure.
I think there's a big difference between that and not putting a Y or an N beside whether you have disciplinary action on a license or not. I do think that there's a pretty substantial difference between that, because that's something we can find out. I mean, we can find out, but we can't find out which lawyer they talk to unless they tell us, and that's part of the thing. So I do think there's a difference between that. But I mean, I guess maybe coming from me, I would like to review the application. I haven't reviewed the application because it wasn't in my committee. And so the way that I would review the application is if it moved forward, and just based off of the strength of Bob Brown's background and his story, and knowing how important education is to him, I think this is something that, especially with his legacy on the line, he's not going to allow it to not be a good school. And so that's why, whatever the motion is, I won't make a motion, but whatever that is, I would vote to move it forward, at least to an interview, because I think if we're struggling with it that much, then the entire advisory board needs to be able to review the application and ask the questions that they have.
This is Heather Van Cannon, if I may. So I'm not there in the room. Maybe it's not as compelling, and it wasn't in my committee either, to Stephen's point, but there are a lot of gaps that I'm hearing in just the discussion from the other committee, and I think that if it's I'm almost looking at it very objectively because I'm not in the room, and it just seems like there's so many gaps. To Alice's point, I don't want to set a precedent where we're just kind of going like, well, for this school, it'll be okay, we'll go to the next level, but for this school, the same thing is not okay. So that's my 2 cents. I just wanted to say it.
Can I share? I haven't had a chance to just share anything, but I haven't been involved in charter schools in DC also involved in.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We are not really at a point where again, it's not an interview. It's we've actually vastly exceeded time.
I will.
Yeah, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, I think it's hard for me to comment on because I haven't reviewed it. But again, I mean, I'm aware of Dr. Brown's legacy, and I think it's worth at least considering it. And there is a big difference between when we talk about incomplete applications and being technicalities.
Can I ask for legal's advice on this? Like what type of water are we treading in here?
Why don't, if you want to ask that question, why don't we just make a quick motion to close that up? We can huddle in the hall.
Okay, let's do it.
I'll make the motion.
All right, so moved. Seconded.
Second.
Steven said, all in favor of going into closed session to discuss the application issues? Can we have people leave? Is there a way we can?
I think we'd have to.
Yeah, we have to do that.
We'd have to.
Tammy and Heather, we'll just have to update you